Today, we're diving into one of the most foundational texts ever written, the Book of Genesis. But we're going to look at it a little differently. Not just as a sacred text, but as the ultimate family saga, packed with drama, betrayal, and a destiny that literally shapes the world.
Think about it. Where did everything come from? How did a fight between two brothers lead to the world's very first murder? And what in the world connects a massive, world-ending flood to a simple rainbow? These are some of the most famous stories ever told. And guess what? They're all part of one single, sprawling story.
And that's what we're going to do here. We're going to trace that single thread that ties all these epic moments together. From the birth of the cosmos to the messy, complicated, and absolutely essential story of one family. Let's get into the Book of Genesis.
So where does the story like this even begin? Well, at the very beginning. Not just the beginning of people, but the beginning of, well, everything. The scale is just massive, and it sets the stage perfectly for all the human drama that's about to unfold. The story kicks off with this incredibly orderly step-by-step process. Over 6 days, the universe takes shape. First, light from dark, then sky from water, then land, plants, the sun and moon. It's all very methodical. And the grand finale on day 6 is the creation of humanity. It's like a cosmic blueprint being followed to the letter. And all of this leads to paradise, the Garden of Eden. I mean, picture this. It's a perfect start. The first humans, Adam and Eve, are living in total harmony with the world and with their creator. There's no conflict, no struggle. It's idyllic. But you know how these stories go. That perfection doesn't last. It all comes crashing down with one choice, one act of disobedience, eating the fruit from the one tree they were told to avoid. And the consequences are instant and huge. They're kicked out of the garden, exiled. And just like that, we have our first major conflict. And that conflict, it immediately spills over into human relationships. I mean, in the very next generation, we get the story of Cain and Abel, the sons of Adam and Eve. A bit of jealousy over whose offering is better spirals completely out of control, and Cain kills his brother. This is a huge moment because it introduces a theme that we're going to see again and again and again in Genesis: sibling rivalry. Fast forward a bit, and things have gotten, well, pretty bad. The world has become so corrupt that the story calls for something drastic. We're talking about the Great Flood, and this isn't just a big storm. It is a full-on reset button for the entire planet. And what a reset it is. We're talking 40 days and 40 nights of nonstop rain until the whole world is underwater. The only ones who make it through are one good man, Noah, his family, and a boatload of animals they've gathered on this massive ark. The world is literally washed clean, giving humanity a second chance. Now, after all that destruction comes a moment of incredible hope. A promise is made, a sacred contract or covenant that the world will never be destroyed by a flood again. And the sign of that promise? A rainbow, a powerful symbol that's still with us today. Okay, so right here, the story does something really fascinating. It's like a movie camera that's been showing us this wide, epic shot of all humanity, and then it suddenly zooms in, way in. The focus shifts from the whole world to just one man and his family. This is where the story of the patriarchs begins. And what kicks off this new focused story? You guessed it, another covenant. But this one's different. It's a personal, binding promise made to a man named Abraham. He's promised 3 huge things: land, descendants so numerous they can't be counted, and a legacy that will end up being a blessing for the whole world. This promise becomes the engine that drives the rest of the book. I mean, just listen to the scale of that. Abraham is told to pack up everything he knows, leave his home, and travel to a new land, all based on this incredible, world-changing promise. Everything that happens next in Genesis is a direct result of this one pivotal moment. So with a promise that big, you'd think this chosen family would be, perfect models of virtue, right? Nope, not even close. In fact, the story now dives headfirst into the messy, relatable, and super intense drama of Abraham's descendants. Remember that sibling rivalry theme? Oh, it's back, and this time with a twist. Abraham's son Isaac has twin boys, Esau and Jacob. Esau is the outdoorsy, firstborn son, his dad's favorite. Jacob is the quiet one, his mom's favorite. And in a wild story of deception, Jacob, with his mother's help, tricks his old blind father and steals the family birthright and blessing that was supposed to go to Esau.
It's a betrayal that shatters the family for years.
And Jacob, the guy who tricked his own brother, ends up with a family that is, let's just say, incredibly complicated. He has 12 sons, but they're born to 4 different women, 2 wives who happen to be sisters, and their 2 servants. You can just imagine the rivalry and jealousy in that household. But these 12 sons are so important because they're destined to become the founding fathers of the 12 tribes of Israel.
All right, this brings us to the grand finale of Genesis, and it all centers on one of those 12 sons, Joseph. He's Jacob's absolute favorite, and his story is one of the most incredible tales of betrayal, survival, and redemption you'll ever hear. And when we say his life is a roller coaster, we are not kidding. First, his dad gives him this amazing colorful robe, which makes his brothers so jealous they sell him into slavery. In Egypt, he gets falsely accused of a crime and is thrown in prison. But then, his strange gift for interpreting dreams gets him noticed by the pharaoh. And just like that, he goes from a forgotten prisoner to the second most powerful man in Egypt, in charge of saving the entire country from a massive famine. And this is where the story has its ultimate payoff moment. The very same famine that Joseph predicted forces his brothers, the ones who sold him and left him for dead, to travel to Egypt to beg for food. And who's the powerful official they have to beg from? Yep, it's Joseph. And they have no idea who he is. So, after putting them through a few tests, Joseph finally reveals his identity. And you're expecting him to get his revenge, right? But what he says is just stunning. He forgives them completely, saying that what they meant for evil, God used for good. It's a moment that heals all the family drama, and Jacob's entire family is brought to live safely in Egypt. So the book of Genesis wraps up on a really high note. The family is reunited, they're safe, they're thriving in Egypt. It feels like a happy ending. But it's really just setting the stage for the next, even more dramatic chapter. It leaves us with a huge question. This family is honored and protected now, but what happens next? How do they go from being favored guests to an entire nation of slaves? Well, that's a story for another